Alright folks, welcome back to the dawn of World Sports. I am the Dawn Father and I'm now going to be doing something that has been requested quite a lot of times given the nature of the content. Everybody knows I like to watch the fighting videos. Sometimes in sport though, the fights boil over and end up completely out of control, and this is one of those exceptions. This one's a throwback to the Pacers versus Pistons Brawl in the NBA. It's a full video from 2004 and it's known as Malice in the Palace. I cannot wait to watch it because it's meant to be absolutely epic. It's right up my street as well for things I like to do reactions on. I'm not the most knowledgeable on rivalries and basketball, etc. Of course I know the sport. Over the years I've watched it on and off, little bits of it, but my current knowledge on today's game's shocking. But this was from 2004, so anyway, let's just enjoy it. I can't wait to watch this spiral out of all control. Let's go! Oh, right, a shove just under the throat there. He's went flying back a little bit. Quite an aggressive shove. Bearing in mind, basketball's not really that much of a contact sport as such. Coaches are getting involved trying to... They're trying to break it up. At this point, it's just a little bit of shouting at each other, pushing and shoving.
That's what causes the problem. Rasheed Wallace did an excellent job trying to keep everybody away and trying to keep the peace.
Are these two rival clubs? Let me know in the comments.
And then Ben Wallace came over with the shove. And an ugly way for this one to wind down.
They still look annoyed, although they've done a good job of separating the players that were involved in the incident. Is it Wallace? Good Scottish name there.
That's what Wallace took exception to, but you still can't react that way. You've got to let it go. That's not that hard of a foul. It's not.
He's touched him in the back as he's going up.
Ben Wallace can't react that way. Wallace is still
It looked like he was going for the slam dunk. He's missed it actually, and the nudge in the back was enough to push him off. He wasn't happy. He's lost his shit altogether. He's got the red mist right now, you know. Nothing's calming him down. Oh, there's a water bottle being thrown from the crowd or the bench or something. It's hit off someone. Right into the crowd! Arteta's right on him! He's a big fella, isn't he? There's water getting thrown. Somebody else is over with a yellow bandana on! Or headband, sorry. Throwing digs. Lovely stuff. Defend yourself in incidences like that. That was not on. There was a cheap shot from, I think it was a fan in the crowd. Now it's spilled over.
This is a disgrace.
And I'll tell you something, they're courtside, I'd imagine they're expensive seats. These are wealthy people in there probably, behaving like thugs. I'm on the basketball player's side. Is it Artist or Artest? Straight in there, bang, he's got a right to defend himself.
And now another fight's breaking out in front of the Pistons bench.
Another fight over here. It's a free-for-all now. They're running across the other side. Everyone's getting fucking emotional now. A lot of the crowd's dispersed backwards. There's still players away up into the seated area. Coaches don't know what to do. They've never seen the like of this before.
You wonder if the official's going to let this game continue. Now they're throwing bottles out onto the floor.
At the end of the day, when you hit somebody with a bottle, he's going to explode. I would explode. How do you let that one go? Yes, there was a bit of shoving going on before all this happened, but it was starting to calm until that.
Ugly scene. Chuck Person. The officials, I think they're going to call this game off, and that should be the outcome is definitely decided. He's
trying to cover his head. The security's trying to cover his head so he doesn't get hit with bottles and cups and everything. They're throwing missiles at the players as they're going down the tunnel. That's not good form from the fans there. And rather than aiming at the players, why aren't the fans going at each other? I'm not too sure. Now we're getting a bit of a brawl in the stands. Don't know if they're still trying to get at. It looks like pulling and pushing and shoving. No real punches as I can see as yet. The players are trying to get down through the tunnel. He's pouring water over his head. I mean, look. That's a cheap shot. Pouring water. I would be able to get up over that railing and rip the face off him if he did that to me. You're already angry. You've got fans behaving like that. Nobody's stopping the fans from doing that. I think the players are just safer getting put down the tunnel, calm them down. But questions have to be asked why the fans were allowed to keep raining bottles on with no security coming in with the buttons or something to disperse them.
Which was the right call. The outcome obviously is over. And players and fans in danger with the emotions and the tempers being completely lost.
More from Mike Breen and Bill Walton shortly. Both teams eventually would head back to the locker room. We're going to go back through the entire situation.
It's more like a European fan base here now.
And slow things down for you. Here's how
the way they were all going. You see missiles all the time in European soccer.
Ben Wallace. It was hard, but it wasn't flagrant. You could make the argument that Wallace overreacted, but that led to pushing and shoving. Seemed like cooler heads were starting to prevail. Now watch Ben Wallace.
Wallace just threw a towel across.
Artest always in the middle of everything, right?
They're pulling him back. He's been pulled back quite easily with one hand, to be fair.
He's lying on the scorer's table. When a fan throws a cup, it hits him in the face. That leads Artest into the crowd. He wrestles the fan
absolutely entitled to do that as far as I'm concerned. More fans throwing water over him, and his teammate comes over and drops him. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Beautiful stuff.
He's in a baseball hat right there. He's hitting Artest from behind.
Oh, cheap shots from the fan.
He clocks Fred Jones from behind. So the fans are not backing off. They're clearly making matters worse.
Very cheap shots from the fans, throwing water when he wasn't expecting it.
Artest punches that fan right in the face. Looked like the fan was heading towards him.
Absolutely brilliant. Well done, Artest. I've got absolutely no problem with him defending himself. He was not the aggravator in this situation. Look at this fat sod. Absolute ficking. He's got a body like a menopausal woman that's ate far too many cheeseburgers. He get dropped because he deserved it.
Lower right-hand corner of your screen. That's Tommy Nunez Jr. He would take a bottle.
He got a bottle off the face. So the crowd are throwing missiles, raining missiles onto the team, the players.
Threatens to spray him with pepper spray, but in the end doesn't.
Why are the cops threatening to spray players with pepper spray when they should actually be getting into the crowd, spraying them and beating them with the buttons? That would flush them out.
Watch this. Looks like an article of clothing comes flying in his direction. Almost a Jonathan Bender. Now by this point, Artest is off the court. Heading for the dressing room.
I cannot believe the crowd has been allowed to keep throwing stuff there and there was no police coming in. The police have, and the security have poorly controlled this situation, in my opinion.
Flying in the direction of Jermaine O'Neal. Another fight breaks out. Players,
wow, you can't see anything that's going on. It's just a human pile-up. People jumping over the top of each other. A whole lot of wrestling going on. I suppose the security at that point has their work cut out trying to separate everyone. Really difficult job for them, and I'd imagine there.
What appear to be a bucket of popcorn. Now watch Jamal Tinsley now. He comes back out of the dressing room, grabs a dustpan, and is inches away from throwing, hitting somebody. Thought better. The Pacers just littered with food and drink as they would exit. People were left bloodied. Fans were left stunned.
And you've got children lying there, sitting there, unsafe.
Kids were left with tears
scared.
On an overall
I hope they're proud of themselves. I actually think the fans behaved shockingly. Yes. That's the end of the video. I'll give a little bit of a review now. I've seen quite a lot of stuff over my years with huge soccer rivalries kicking off, particularly in Scotland with the Old Firm. You've seen things over the years happening, and the actions on the court did, there's no getting away from it, did lead to what happened thereafter. But why why are these people allowed to continuously throw missiles? I know they probably weren't very heavy missiles or just juice and little cups and popcorn and stuff, but the point is there's still a chance of them dangerously hurting someone. I think somebody said there was a seat thrown in. I've seen lots of that over the years in Europe, seats being snapped and threw like frisbees at people, glass bottles being thrown. But why upon why is the security not just getting straight in there and so heavy-handed on them? The fact that they can still stand right above that tunnel and rain missiles down all over anyone. And I genuinely believe no matter what in life, you have a right to defend yourself at all times, no matter what. If somebody is trying to hurt you or attack you, you have a right to defend yourself. So there's no denying that when one of those basketball players was going down there and people were raining missiles on him, I would be wanting to get up there and grab that person and smack him as well. Absolutely condone that. However, all this being said, if the basketball players that were involved at the time, Wallace was one of them, can't remember the other player, just controlled themselves in the situation, it would never have happened in the first place. But I do have to ask, why is the security not better prepared to deal with that? What was quite fascinating for me was most of the trouble was coming from what I would have thought in basketball, not a very cheap sport to follow and support your team in. Those front row seats, those courtside seats would be very expensive tickets. So why are these courtside seats the ones where the people were behaving the worst? Usually people with more money, you'd expect them to be able to control themselves. So really poor show all around. However, there was some great punches in there. I quite enjoyed that as well. But the moral of the story is here, when you see these crowds pushing and shoving and climbing all over the top of each other, it's very, 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 very dangerous. There's children crying in the crowd, so you don't want to see that. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thanks very much for the request. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and put the notifications bell on. The link to that video, if you want to watch it without me reacting, will be in the description section below, as well all our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our Patreon. I love it if you could become a patron. And well, if you don't want to sign up monthly, and Boss Baby here to say donate to the channel. Donate to the channel if you can. That's our Get Us To Us fundraiser that we're doing as well. Thanks very much everyone. I am the Don Father. That was Boss Baby and Brains, and I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.
Bye.